What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here to bring you guys another market recap today. So the very first thing I'd like to do today is actually shout out my Discord, because all you guys in there have been putting in so much effort in the market this year. But I'd just like to say the growth I've seen from many traders in there recently is amazing. So I'm going to pay homage later on in the video and show you guys some of the gains, for those of you who are not in the Discord, some of the gains people have been making in the Discord, because it honestly is incredible. So in this video, like I said, I'm going to recap everything I traded this week. I'm going to look at some big movers from this week. I'd say the top 3 moves that we missed, and then also briefly touch on some stocks to watch for this upcoming trading week. But of course, as always, before we get into that, the first thing I'd like you guys to do today is drop a thumbs up on this video. It would definitely be appreciated. Also, make sure you guys comment on the video, let me know your thoughts about today's video, let me know your thoughts about trades, some future trades, some stocks to buy and hold long term, all that good stuff. And as always, do not forget to hit the red button if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. And lastly but not least, make sure to share these videos with your friends to get them out to more people. To show more people what you can do when you're trading in this kind of market, all that kind of stuff. Now, tomorrow evening, I'll produce a video with all the stocks I'm watching for this upcoming trading week. But like I said, today is more just to recap how I traded this week, what I traded. And to be honest, it was a banging week. So this week we had CPI and PPI. And as you can see from this title here, Americans are starting to push back on price hikes. So CPI came in at 3.2. It was around what we expected, to be honest, but it did cause the market to sell off. As you can see as well, Nvidia and other AI stocks are slumping, and Nvidia's been on a tear for pretty much this whole year. And Bill Gross says 10-year treasuries are overvalued. So let's see what that means for the market. But let's get into my trades that I took this week. So I'm going to jump over to TradingView, and I'm going to start with Tesla, purely because that was my first trade of the week. Now, I did recap this in Wednesday's trading, so I don't want to get into it too much. To be honest, it was a pretty easy trade. I took puts on Tesla. Why? Because at the beginning of the week, I said Tesla's clearly bearish. If you want to look for something to swing to the downside, this is one of the top stocks to watch. So I took a 240 put for this, ended up making around 80%, and then left with the money. That was it. So on to the next stock I traded this week, ExxonMobil. And this was the swing to the upside that I was talking about looking at this week. It was pretty easy again. This time I took the $108 calls. So that was on Tuesday. And before you knew it was $108, $109, $110. And then by Friday, so yesterday, $111, almost $112. And ironically, I actually took another Exxon swing. So I took this $112 call yesterday. I took a call to swing into next week. And I put a relatively low stop loss because I want the trade to pan out. As you can see, it has plenty of room to run. Once it broke $108, I said my price target, $114. That was my first price target. So I'm thinking that we get past 112 next week and continue running up to around 114. And then maybe by the week after, 119. So yeah, I'm in Exxon swings right now. I traded Exxon twice this week, and so far it's looking good. So let's move on. Recap the AMD trade. So I took AMD puts as well, $110 puts, also expiring yesterday. And to be honest, I did a day trade here, and I mean, I'm happy with it because it was about 20-minute trade and I made about 70%, 72%. If I had just held this a couple more hours, maybe even another day, wow, look at this. I need to zoom in because this is really crazy. So I jumped into this when it was around 111 something, somewhere above this blue line. And then before you knew it, a day or two later, it's down at $107. So those are the kind of puts where you gotta just enjoy the ride, because there's plenty more downside. I'll show you in the Discord. I said there's plenty more downside to this, and there was plenty more downside. But either way, that AMD trade was my third trade of the week and made it 3 for 3 from the week. Now, I also took QQQ, and guess what I did with this one? Calls or puts? Take a guess. Puts. QQQ puts. I know when to take puts and when to take calls. So with this one, I took the 368 puts. Once again, similar story of AMD. I made profit. I got in about 369, I believe, somewhere just above the pink line. So maybe closer to 370, took the 368 puts. Before I knew it, it was up. Let's check this one out. It was up around 117%, and I actually missed that part because I was busy. So that was Thursday. Let me see. Here we go. Yep. So we're above my pink line, around 170. we got rejected at the moving average. And as we started to sell off and break below my magical support line, I realized, yep, this is a great trade. But as I said, I missed, the bottom of it, and I ended up getting out around 56%. So funny enough, it did push up back up to my level of support and then got rejected and sold off. That's pretty obvious, when you see trades like this that keep getting rejected at specific lines, I've had this support line drawn out for months now. You kind of gauge where the next trade is going. So anyway, as I said, it sold off the next day. And if I had held longer or taken a different expiry, could have been a higher reward. But I just want to point out that my expiry was Thursday, so I had to sell because it was 0 DTE. And with 0 DTE, if it starts pushing up like this, you got to get out. So once it started pushing up, I got out, took a 56% off that, and then left with the money. Now, QQQ was not done because Friday I traded QQQ again. But this time I was live trading on Twitter. And yeah, this chart isn't great, as you can clearly see. But what we did do is work together as a team on Twitter Spaces Live. And as it sold off, someone did mention this has been a common support level for QQQ. So I traded the calls. It was a high risk, high reward trade again because it was expiring yesterday. Took a 367 call when it was already pushing up. And as it broke above the moving average, off that pop, we were up 51%. I told you guys to move the stop loss just in case it does break down again. And lo and behold, it got rejected by the 9-day moving average, started selling off. And of course, because of that stop loss, we still took profit. That's how it should be. That's exactly what you need to do when it comes to this trading game. So let's check a look at some of the biggest plays that we missed this week. I'm going to start with UPST because I had this on my watch list. Monday, I wrote this down on my watch list and somehow we missed it, people. We missed it. Let's check out the daily chart or even the weekly chart. Might be interesting. Here we go. Yeah, that's all you need to know. Look at the weekly chart. That tells you the story. How much is it down on the week? Pick up Yahoo Finance because this really struggled this week. It suffered badly. 5-day. Wow. There you go. That tells the story. From 56 all the way down to 33. Plummeted 45% this week. It struggled. That was a big miss. Let's see what happened with this one. So quickly read the article. Reading is good, people. We know Upstart had a horrible year in 2022. Blah, 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 blah. So they posted their earnings and guess what? The numbers were not even that bad. They beat revenue and they beat earnings expectations. Revenue was down 40% year over year, blah, blah, blah. But what even happened with this one? Oftentimes what happens with stocks is when they post earnings, there's not just a reaction, but there is an overreaction. So that's probably what happened with Upstart because the company lost 45% this week. People, that is almost half their share price. So let's say a stock is $200. That's like it jumping down to like $110. You lose almost half your stock price. So yeah, the sell-off was sparked by earnings and overreaction to earnings. But honestly, that can happen. Now I want to jump over back to Yahoo Finance. Let me check out Penn. I know this had a bit of an erratic week. Look at that. Huge jump and then a crazy sell-off. What happened with Penn? So they secured a $2 billion deal with ESPN. That obviously is a huge bit of news. So Penn cut a big sports betting deal with ESPN, which obviously caused the stock to skyrocket. And there was also rumors that they might sell complete ownership to David Portnoy. You guys must know Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports CEO is David Portnoy. Not exactly a great person, but either way, that's beyond the point. Anyway, this had an effect on stocks like DraftKings, DKNG. As you can see, DraftKings started to move up towards the end of the week. And there are rumors that this might have an effect on GMBL going forward. That one might be one to watch, just so you guys know. But different people took this Penn news differently. Some thought it was a pathetic idea to have this partnership with ESPN. Others thought this is great news. And of course, we're intrigued by what's happening. Disney also did skyrocket off that Penn news. So that was a sympathy play in this case. And to be honest, I personally wouldn't go near Disney yet. I think they still need to get their streaming figured out. And as I said, a lot of times when we see a reaction to things, it is an overreaction. So let's jump back up to TradingView. Look at Disney actually. Yeah, still getting rejected by the moving average. And let's pull up pen. Yeah, there you go. Still bearish, to be honest. Did have a huge 4-day move and then a crazy move this week and then sold off. So that's the weekly charts. The daily charts got rejected at 200 moving average as well. Either way, let's move on to a couple stocks I'm looking at going to this upcoming week. So there you saw some big movers from last week. Let's see what could move big this week. I'm going to start with Walmart. Walmart is looking primed to push out and break out. It's been hovering around the previous highs or the all-time highs, and it is holding well above the moving average. I'm waiting to see, once it pulls back to the moving average again, if it does start pushing up and breaking out. This could be one of those hot stocks to watch this upcoming trading week. Now I want to look at Spotify. Spotify is very clearly bearish, but it's just hanging above the 200-day moving average on the daily chart. Checking the 4-hour chart for Spotify. Getting rejected at the 9-day moving average. Continually downtrending. Every time it pushes up, it breaks down. Again, just keep it on your radar. If you look at the weekly chart, very clearly bearish. 5 weeks in a row, it's just been back to back to back red. If we look at the hourly chart, if you want to take a day trade, it looks like it's uptrending. So the different charts are telling us different stories. And all that means is you got to just manage your trade a little bit more than, maybe something like Tesla or so, where you can see a clear trend. Now I want to jump over to PayPal, a stock I break down quite often, to be honest. Very briefly, like I said, tomorrow's video is going to have all the stocks I'm watching, so make sure you tune in for that one. PayPal hourly chart looks bearish. PayPal 4-hour chart looks bearish. Guess what, guys? PayPal's daily chart looks bearish. Do you need to go to the weekly chart? All right, let's go to the weekly chart. Monthly chart, bearish. Weekly chart. So do you guys get the idea? What's the plan with PayPal this week? Puts, and more puts. It is that simple. All I need to see is it continuing to break down, following the trend. Don't fight the trend. If you see something like this just dying off, since earnings has been dying off, continue to go with the trend. Now let's move over to the energy sector. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm looking for a pushback up to 114 with Exxon and then 119 within the next couple of weeks. That is the target. I'll be real with you guys. You will see me continuously swinging Exxon to the upside. I've been doing it all week and I'm going to continue doing it. 114 is the price target. Then we go up to 119 within the next couple of weeks. I've got in the $108 calls this week. If I held those, I could have ended up getting 300, 400%. Or I got over 200%, but I'm telling you, there's more potential with this. There's going to be pullbacks along the way, but there's still plenty of upside. So I do want to inform you guys on my next video, I'm going to be talking about some stocks to watch this upcoming week, which include Meta, Microsoft, obviously Exxon, PayPal, and a few others as well. So tune in for that video. If you've not checked out last video from the midweek recap, go check that one out. And of course, make sure you guys check out the Discord, the Royal Trading Academy that is available to you guys. The link is in the description below. And of course, guys, the stock option starter pack is there as well. That's a one-time fee. You get to have access to all my videos, private videos. You can go through those. You can keep them. You can watch them wherever you go. You will have access to those videos for life. So you can watch them on the road, at your home, wherever you are, on vacation, doesn't matter. You can always learn from those videos and keep understanding how I trade, what I look for, what the Greeks mean, what they do, all that kind of stuff. And then lastly but not least, check out my social media at The Wealth Prince on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. On Instagram, I've been doing more stock breakdowns, so make sure you go check out my Instagram. And overall, make sure you guys are back here next time for another video. I've got money making, you got money making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace. Game over.